Yo, peace. What's good, y'all? It's your brother God Science up in here. Shout out, special salute to the few that do watch the videos and subscribe. I really appreciate y'all. True indeed. Word up. Um, Lost one of our heroes today, man. One of my heroes. When it comes to this hip hop shit and being a music producer, wondering how they made that stuff, like the samples, I had to figure it out. And this brother was like instrumental in that. Me wanting to be a producer, me, starting to ask my dad to buy me equipment, starting to learn what the SP1200 was, and all these instruments. Shout out to, and I'm talking about the man Hitman Howie Tee. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, please go back and do your research. Those that from my era, you know who Hitman Howie Tee is. You know what I'm saying? Produced for Special Ed, Chubb Rock, one of the baddest producers. That album he did, And the Winner Is, with Chubb Rock, the sampling on that was incredible. The One is my favorite album from Chubb Rock, produced by Howie Tee. Dude was just so dope. Color Me Bad, he did a lot of stuff, man. And it's sad to hear that he passed, man. And I'm glad. Salute to Soren Baker, man. He did an interview, and I put in the because I never seen a lot of interviews with Hitman Howie Tee, and he's so important to hip hop. And Soren Baker did an interview with him, man, and I'm so grateful that he did that, because I asked him in the comments, I was like, yo, it'd be dope if you do an interview with Hitman Howie Tee, because I always wanted to know, like, how he created those hits, man. Like, what was his process? What did he use? I'm a nerd like that. What's your weapon of choice? And he basically broke it down, talked about the music business, he was working with Profile and stuff like that. But I'm so glad that he did that interview, man, because it wasn't a lot of interviews out there. And, as a producer, we talk about the RZAs and the Premiers, the Lord Finesses, and the, Diamond D's, and the Large Professors, and the Pete Rocks. But, in there, man, you gotta include Hitman Howie Tee, man. He was we all children of Hitman Howie Tee. You know what I'm saying? We all children of Hitman Howie Tee, man. He did it like, no other, man. And, it's just sad to hear that he passed. And, condolences go out to his family, you know what I mean? His loved ones out there. Like I said, I never met him, but he was like a mentor, you know what I'm saying? I studied his music, and learned how to, starting from DJing, but just learned how to, sample and put these stuff together, similar to like the Bomb Squad. Like when you heard the Bomb Squad, you just had to figure out, as a producer, someone that was interested in music, like, yo, how the hell are they putting all these noise together? And it was like the same thing with Howie Tee, you know what I mean? So salute to Howie Tee, man. Hitman Howie Tee, get it right. And definitely one of our pioneers in hip hop. And I know a lot of people out there don't even know who Hitman Howie Tee is, which is sad. And that's only in the hip hop culture, where we don't celebrate our elders. We just like, talk this crap about, are you too old? You're never too old. If you love music, how can you, okay, I'm 50 now, let me stop loving music? It makes no sense. And then all these youngins out here that talk that, I guess y'all want to die at a young age. So y'all gonna just live to, I guess, be 30 and go out. It's just so stupid. But it just shows the brainwashing and the deaf, dumb, and blind mentality about some people in our culture. And where that comes from. You know what I mean? But other than that, man, I just want to say salute to Hitman Howie Tee. And thank you for inspiring me, you know what I mean, as a music producer. I'm always learning. I'm always striving to get better. You know, far from a master at it, you know, but these are the dudes that inspired me and made me look at, you know, just like the Maurice Whites and the Quincy Jones, you know, at a time when hip hop wasn't played on the radio like that. They inspired me. But when it came to this hip hop and it started, you know, after 88, the explosion of 1988, you know, you had dudes like Hitman Howie Tee when he came out with The Winner Is with Chubb Rock. Man, that album, woo! I remember playing it back to back to back to back, and I was just studying it, you know, learning the reason why I like certain songs because of, you know, it being sampled with funk in it and having the music that my dad loved. And they were sampling it and understanding, okay, this is why I like this song because, you know, it has that P-Funk in it or that James Brown sample, you know what I'm saying, or that Donald Byrd sample, whatever sample it was, you know, and learning about, you know, digging records and you know, the producers and stuff like that. I learned a lot from Howie T, man, and, you know, I even met him once, but that's just to tell you the impact that he had in hip-hop. So, you know, this is, and I always gave him his flowers, you know what I mean? I gave him his flowers when he did that. You know, that's a dude that should have been on Drink Champs. You know, I don't know why he wasn't on Drink Champs, but, and I know he was going through some health issues probably because of that. I don't know. But these are the dudes that I wanted to be on giving their flowers because they laid the groundwork for every other producer to come, the Premiers and everybody else, the Eric Sermons and Hitman Howie Tee in the beginning, man, killing it. So salute, man. You got your page in hip hop. You are a legend. And once again, condolences to your family and everything. And you gonna always live forever in my radio, man, in my car. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, up to this day, I'm still playing Chubb Rock the One, which to me is like his greatest album. You know what I mean? So salute to Hitman Howie Tee, man. Signing off. Y'all stay at peace. Safe. Peace. Like all tongue-tied.